Black activist groups, including Al Sharpton's National Action Network, also Black Lives Matter, and the new Black Panther Party, now organizing a protest in support of and in defense of the controversial leader of the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan. The groups are protesting a congressional resolution condemning Farrakhan. With me now, Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz. First of all, Professor, there are some other comments made by Farrakhan. Here's one of them. The Jews talk about never again. You cannot say never again to God, because when he puts you in the oven, you're in one indeed. He also said the Jews have control over those agencies of government. He also said this: when a woman does not know how to cook and the right foods to cook, she's preparing death for herself, her husband, and her children. Professor, Democrats like Maxine Waters, Al Green, Keith Ellison, they also have links to Farrakhan. What's going on here?
Well, first of all, Farrakhan is not only an anti-Semite, he's anti-white, he's anti-woman, he's anti-gay, he's anti-everything decent in this country. And when you get bigots supporting him, and people like Al Sharpton, who has his own history of anti-Semitism, Black Lives Matter, which singled out only Israel and called it a genocidal and apartheid country, which was anti-Semitic as well. What we have in this country is people who believe in an affirmative action program for racism for African Americans, that if you're African American, you can get away with supporting anti-Semitism, anti-gay, anti-white.
But wait a minute, because, Trump is being accused of racism, but now we've got an MSNBC host, Al Sharpton, defending this this anti-Semite, this racist, anti-gay individual. I don't understand why more people are not condemning Farrakhan, including Democrats.
Well, the Democrats should condemn him. The women's movement should condemn him. Gay rights movement should condemn him. Everybody should condemn him. And I never have understood why Al Sharpton, who has a history of anti-Semitism, a history about lying and falsely accusing people of crime, should be on a major network. If you had a white person who was equivalently racist against blacks and who defended David Duke, he would never, ever get on the air on a national network. And yet we have affirmative action for black racism, and that's just unjustified. We have to have zero tolerance for bigotry, racism, anti-Semitism, and under the standard of zero tolerance, not only doesn't Farrakhan satisfy it, but neither does Sharpton, neither does Black Lives Matter, and neither do the congressmen who are now standing in support of a bigot and anti-Semite. Imagine a Republican congressman standing in support of David Duke, and Farrakhan is much, much, much more dangerous than David Duke, because Farrakhan has the support of hundreds of thousands of African Americans. What's my source for that? My source for that is Sharpton, who says that he has massive support in the African American community. David Duke doesn't have any support. And so we should not have a double standard, and Democrats and all decent people should come out not only against Farrakhan, but any congressperson who supports Farrakhan.
Yeah, so let's get to one of those congressmen, Professor. It's Democrat Congressman of Illinois. He's Danny Davis. He tried to clarify his position and his praise. Danny Davis has praised Farrakhan and has met with Farrakhan. Here's what he's saying now, quote, "I disagree with Minister Farrakhan in terms of white people being devils and Jewish people being satanic. But I also protect his right as a free individual to say and do whatever he wants to do. I think he does outstanding things for especially blacks who are unsure about themselves and people who've been in prison." Your reaction to that?
People said the same thing about Adolf Hitler, that he did good things for the German people. You cannot justify this kind of bigotry by saying that he also does some decent things. And I think it's a scandal that the Democratic Party and liberals and the New York Times lets black bigots off the hook. It only attacks the bigotry on the right. Today, the danger of bigotry is far greater from the hard left, from the African-American community, from the Muslim community, from many other communities which tolerate bigotry than it is from the right. Look, anti-Semitism is wrong from both the right and the left. We all condemn it from the right. Let's join together and condemn it from the left, regardless of the race of the person who's behind it.
Professor Alan Dershowitz, we love having you on. Come back soon, sir.